Hello, hello. Welcome to our weekly live. Today I'm going to be talking about the importance of internally networking within your current organization and why that's important to your career success. Here's what happens. A lot of times in these organizations, what we do is we get the job, we're pretty excited, we meet some coworkers, then we get busy with the tasks at hand, which is absolutely the right approach. However, for us, since we are the A players, we're looking for career success, we really want to make it out there, we want to get paid the amount of money that we absolutely deserve, and we want to stand out than everyone else, then for us, things have to be a little different, right? And so essentially, when we do get this job and we're super excited, like I said, and we're busy delivering on our tasks and roles and responsibilities, we forget to build relationships. And when we forget to build relationships, essentially what happens is that you really end up becoming a ghost. No one knows who you are. You may say hi to people in the hallway and just wave at them, and they're like, oh, I don't know who that person is. I think they work on this project, but yeah, I really don't know them. I don't see them ever. I think they're just busy in their offices working. So you end up becoming the person that no one knows. They don't know your first name. They don't know what you do because, you're just in your cubicle or online just keeping super busy. And the mindset behind that may be, you know what, I don't really need to network. I don't really need to talk to anyone. I was hired and I'm going to just do my job and get all of the work delivered. The bad news here is that just doing your job is not enough. If you think that's enough, that is not going to get you the next promotion. That's not going to get you the recognition that you think you deserve, because essentially it is the people around us and how we nurture those relationships that ultimately gets us the what do I call them? I call them support systems that help us move up the ladder. So who should you be really networking with inside of your organization? The important individuals that you want to get on your side, obviously first is your team members. If team members speak badly about you because of, your inability to communicate or your inability to really see eye to eye with them, and if there have been issues with your team members where it has escalated to levels that should not have had, those things can haunt you later in the day. And that's one of the things I always talk about is being very political, being aware of your body language, being aware of your tone. These things are very, very important. They can be having the wrong tone or having saying the wrong things can actually be detrimental to your career, believe it or not, because these are not our friends, they're not our families, they're not going to be forgiving of the things that our tongues say, and for us to not be able to have that gate right here before the words come out. So who should you be networking with? I talked about the team. Your team, like I said, right? You do need to know exactly who everyone is, what they're doing on the project, be able to clearly say their names. If they have a nickname, ask them. If they don't give them a nickname, right? Just learn to say their name, spell it phonetically, put it somewhere by your laptop. But saying someone's name appropriately gives them respect, and that's the number one connection. Number two, networking with your manager, having coffee chats, attending the happy hours. Don't be the person who hides from these corporate events, right? You do have to attend, absolutely. And you might say to yourself, I don't want to do that. Well, if you're not doing it, look back in your career and say, have I really progressed by not networking, right? Because that could be a roadblock and where you really need to be. So networking with your manager, attending those happy hour events is essential to your career success. And you can look around to those who really keep to themselves. They don't really progress anywhere. So, and you might say to yourself that you're an introvert, right? Labeling ourselves as one thing or another. Stop that. You don't need to label yourself as anything. There's nothing wrong with standing there introducing yourself, holding a drink, a can be non-alcoholic, in your hand and just saying, hey, how are you? Right? That has nothing to do with being an introvert or an extrovert. Or if you're the kind of person that says, I don't really like people. Well, you're a person. Do you not like yourself either? So should other people not like you either? And so what are you saying to yourself? How are you labeling yourself? And that's where the mindset really comes into play. Stop that, right? Stop labeling yourself as one thing or another. Just go and connect with people. Number 3, who else should you be connecting with within your organization? You need to know your HR director. You need to know every single person that works in the HR department, not just because they signed your offer letter, but because you've actually knocked on the door and said, hey, just wanted to quickly introduce myself. I know that, I was hired. I just want to say your hiring process is so efficient and so amazing, and I just want to give you a shout out. So immediately what you're starting with is a compliment. You're walking in there not needing something from HR, because generally when we walk into our HR departments or even have the conversation with our HR director, it's because A, we're getting hired, or B, we're getting fired, or the middle is you're getting reprimanded for something you've done. And what I've always realized is when I've built relationships with HR directors and individuals with the higher ups, they get so surprised when junior level staff walk up to them and they say, hey, how are you today? How's it going? How are you enjoying your cup of coffee? So the interconnection, the human aspect of things is so important for us as A players, right? When I say A players, I'm talking about you being the most efficient, the top employee who is producing not only work, but good quality work. You know your coworkers, you have a good relationship with your manager, you know how to really control your emotions at work and be able to be political, right? And so when I talk about these political games, guys, we're not in with our friends group, we're not with our family group. We are in this corporation selling our skills for a certain amount of money. And that money is going to get us what? The next home, the next vacation, pay for our kids' college. So yes, you do have to play the game. So if someone tells you, I don't want to play the corporate game, essentially they're just sabotaging themselves. It's total BS when someone says that to me. And I'm like, okay, well, it's a business transaction. I'm not going to joke around, make a stupid joke and ruin that relationship. I'll leave those jokes that I have, and I can be very funny at times, right? But I know when to be funny with my personal friends, and I know when to be funny with work friends. And so essentially networking means getting to know everyone, but also keeping your life information to yourself. So when I talk about networking internally to your organization, I'm not saying walking around the different cubicles and sharing relationship issues or any insecurities that I have. No, you're coming from a place of positivity. You're coming from a place of, today's going to be a good day. You're going to be, of course, propping yourself up a little bit, doing that power pose, and really going around and introducing yourself, whether that's virtual or in person. So I talked about 3 main groups internally in your organization that you need to be networking with. Number 1, your team members. Your team members are going to be your biggest advocates. Someone talks trash about you, a team member is going to come back and say, I don't believe that. I know Majuba and I know her work and I know she'll never talk poo-poo about someone. Right? Your team will back you up. Number 2, you need to build a relationship with your manager. Not a relationship where you're venting about your life's issues or you're going from a place of complaining. I'm talking about building a relationship of, manager, I don't really need anything from you. Let's just connect. How are you doing, right? What do you think of everything that's going on on the project? What's down the pipeline? Networking in that way, you're building a relationship. Number 3, building a relationship with your HR directors, right? HR administrators, HR coordinators. And I'll tell you the benefit of that. Every organization I've gone to, I've known who the HR director is. They've known me by my name, as complicated as my name can be. I'm now going by MJ because it removes this whole other thing of where you're from, and just lengthens the conversation where I'm not reducing who I am. I'm just like, hey, my name's Majuba, but feel free to call me MJ. So I've gone around and really met these HR directors, and I'll tell you the benefits of what has happened. I've referred people to the organization and they've been hired. In turn, I've made referral fees of $1,500 to $2,500. And guess what? My referrals and the people that I referred were pushed up because they knew who Majuba was. I'm the friendly girl that's walking around introducing herself and saying, hey, I did this great thing for the client today. I'm just so happy that this organization has this project. Do you feel me? So, again, the human touch, right? The A-player game, not the average employee. That's not who you are. You're not the average employee. You're the A-player who is doing what? Paving the way to a director position, paving the way to a C-suite position, paving the way to maybe one day owning their own company. That's who you are, and those are the habits of an A-player, right? And so I want you to go out there today and look at your internal network and say, who can I get to know a little better? Who can I have a conversation with about efficiency or processes or the deliverables, or just some chatting about professional things that I can talk about? Who can you talk to today and put in the chat box that has been out of your mind, right? So start with your team, start with your manager, then the HR directors. And you know what? We're all virtual in these days. You can send an email to your HR director and say, thank you so much for everything. I see your emails and these newsletters going out. It really helps me stay on top of the news for the organization. 3 sentences. And guess what? They're going to appreciate you for that. You know what? Send your manager a message and say, I love the way you ran the meeting today. I really felt like I was heard. Simple gestures. And you would be surprised how much more you're going to get in return. But what happens if you don't do any of this? What happens when people don't network internally in their organizations? They most likely are not seen. They generally don't get promoted. The team members don't know who they are, so they're never going to really vouch for them. The manager is going to really look at you as a worker bee versus a leader, a coach, someone who can handle more responsibilities. And so you're always overlooked, and that may not be you, right? But it's the vision or what you're projecting out there is someone who likes to keep to themselves. And so then you're just communicating that unintentionally to your organization. So your homework is to go ahead and make a list of everyone that you can internally communicate with and network with, and send simple emails and really give people recognition when they deserve it. Trust me, how nice is it when you receive an email that says, good job. Get to know your manager, get to know your HR department and who they are, and just go and be you. Be this amazing, vibrant, positive individual that's making an impact in someone else's life. Why? Because you're different than the average employee. Anyone who's in this group, I always say that, you are in this group because you're not average. And you're in this group because we're going to make sure that you are never average and that you continue to be that A player and that you show your leadership skills and that you're this shining star in your organization. That's the entire goal. So thank you for joining the live. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know your thoughts. Like, what do you think of this way of internally networking within your organization? And I always look forward to your feedback. Thank you for those that have joined me live. And if you're watching this in replay, let me know that as well. And I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye.